and successful transfer to the next generation. Our family office clients continue to trust us for this commitment and the result that we deliver.
All of you to kindly settle down. I'd also like to request all of you to kindly place your cell phones on the silent mode or keep it switched off during the course of the event. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, your safety is extremely important to us. Therefore, I'd request your kind attention to Ujjwal from Four Seasons, who will now be taking us through the safety and precaution instructions.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Four Seasons. I'll just give you a short brief about all the security measures. The hotel is well equipped with all the latest security and fire safety devices, but if in case of any emergency, the number is 3333. Okay, and if in case you need to go out for an evacuation, the launch from where you entered, that is an emergency assembly area, and the hotel emergency team will take care of any kind of emergencies. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Good evening. A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Xenia Fernandez, and I welcome you all to Outlook Business Women of Worth 2017, presented by PC Jeweler in association with Volkswagen Passat and Naturals, our wealth partner ASK Group, and beauty retail partner Health and Glow, our wellness partner Organic India, outdoor partner Bright Advertising, and outreach partner Thai Mumbai. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's create some energy in the room and start the evening on a high note by putting our hands together in a huge round of applause for all the women of worth present in this room. Thank you very much. Well, may I now please call upon Outlook Business Editor N. Mahalakshmi to come up on stage to give us an insight into what Women of Worth is all about.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a matter of great pleasure to have all of you here to celebrate the success of our Women of Worth 2017. This is a property we created about 2 years ago to showcase outstanding stories of entrepreneurship in the country. We thought that professionals, top professionals, professional women were profiled a lot, but we hardly knew more than a handful of women entrepreneurs, and that's why we started this property. And 3 editions and 60 profiles down, we find ourselves telling stories of women we hardly knew about their work and their personal struggles and stories. And these stories are so compelling. We really wondered, why is it that we haven't told these stories all this long? Frankly, I have no answer to that. But what the heck, we're really happy to tell these stories now. And on this beautiful occasion, I want to share a quote that I came across many, many years ago. And the quote went something like this, that the risk that we all face often is not that we set our goals so high that we don't achieve them, but we set our goals so low that we end up achieving them. So I thought it was really apt and a perfect representation of what our Women of Worth are all about, or what they have really done differently. And when I read through or go through each one of these profiles, I found that all of them, irrespective of their backgrounds, whether they came from absolutely underprivileged backgrounds or privileged backgrounds, whoever got somewhere really started with a dream. They set audacious goals for themselves, something that did not look achievable at all. But they mustered the courage to go and pursue those dreams and got there. And it didn't stop there. They just kept pushing the envelope, and the ambitions got bigger, and they got bigger and bigger in size. So we really didn't have to think about a tagline. We didn't have an ad agency to help us with how to market this property or anything like that. And the campaign line was, they dreamt, they dared. And truly that is what the story of Women of Worth is all about. And I'm really glad that we are telling these stories. We think it is really our pleasure and privilege to showcase these outstanding women. Thank you all for joining us here to celebrate these Women of Worth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mahalakshmi, for taking us through the story of Women of Worth. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd now like to invite Mr. Vipin Sharma from PC Jeweler to say a few words. Now, started in 2005, PC Jeweler is one of the fastest growing retail jewelry chain in the country, present across 19 states. It clocked $1 billion in revenue within 10 years of its existence. Mr. Sharma, I'd request you to kindly join me on stage.
Thank you. First of all, it's my pleasure and privilege to extend a very warm welcome to you all this evening. We are here to celebrate Outlook Business Women of Worth and your outstanding achievements over the years. As I look through the profile and the event and the write-ups, I think there are three things that I thought stood out to my mind, and I thought of taking this opportunity to just talk briefly through it. I think first of all, what we are celebrating here itself as you being women entrepreneurs in creating your own path in what you believed in, mostly without having proven examples and setting the tone and setting your own goals and pushing your talent behind it and with a lot of perseverance in showing the path to what now many others can follow. I think that calls for a huge round of applause to celebrate for all of us to recognize what an amazing journey it must have been, but at the same time, you only know how you have overcome all kinds of obstacles and roadblocks and change of mindset and making it a journey that must have been extremely worthwhile, not for your own self, but helping a lot many others achieve their own dreams and aspirations in the process. I think second thing, which I would like to thank Outlook Group for organizing this event, not just about felicitation and celebration of the success, but I think in a larger context, the examples that it would provide to a younger generation in terms of people and women who want to follow their own dreams, and the inspiration that you will provide through this kind of platform, and the larger message that it sets out. It is our honor at PC Jeweler to be associated with such an event. It is our second year of association, so we consider it a privilege for us to be here, and we are extremely excited and delighted to be part of today's evening and the whole event. Like you heard, PC Jewelers had an extremely successful run in last about 12 years, starting from an inception of one outlet in New Delhi it's grown to 84 outlets in 19 states across the country, making it one of the most significant players in the industry. And tonight's evening is all about celebration of women's achievements, and I think jewelry should not be left far behind in that context. So it makes the evening even more special for us to be playing a part. So without further ado, I'd like to thank you all once again. Thank Outlook Group for having us here. And we put together a small sequence of a fashion show with showcasing some of our latest designs, and hope you will all enjoy it. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Sharma. We take a cue from that. Jewelry will never be left behind. So, ladies and gentlemen, get ready to be dazzled as we show you a glimpse, the best that PCJ has to offer. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you the PCJ Fashion Show. Here we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a quick announcement. Since this is a recorded show, I'd request all of you to please remain seated during the event. And I think we're ready to get more fashionable. Here you go.
on fire and no one could save me but you. Strange wild desire will make foolish people do.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a fantastic show. Can we have a huge round of applause? Thank you, PCJ. And thank you to the designer, Sharma Chauhan. That was amazing. Shining brighter than the jewels that you just saw, ladies and gentlemen, is our next speaker, who is a woman who's also known as the Dawn of Chinatown from the City of Joy. Miss Monica Liu, a Chinese immigrant, is an epitome of courage and determination, the essential prerequisites for becoming a successful entrepreneur. Monica is a true inspiration for those who want to go the extra mile to make their mark in this world. But her journey has been far from easy.
In 1991, Monica Liu started her first Chinese restaurant in Kolkata's Chinatown. But her path to success was not easy.
In the year 1962, the war broke out in the Indo-China War, so we were taken to Rajasthan.
Her entire family was arrested. After 5 years, Monica and her family were released when she sent a letter to the Home Minister. But by then, they had lost everything: their home, their friends.
So my mom know how to make momos and all that. So every evening, we all had my mom to make momo, and from morning we start selling it.
After a few years, Monica moved back to Kolkata. Today, she owns 5 restaurants: Kimling, Beijing, Tungfong, Mandarin on Sarat Post Road, and Mandarin in Lake Avenue. She was once a refugee, but today is called the dawn of Kolkata's Chinatown.
I love India, but I always said, Calcutta Jindabad. I love Calcutta.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Miss Monica Liu, who will be taking us through a fascinating journey this evening. Thanks.
Good evening, everybody. I love you all. Okay. I don't know how to start. Today I'm standing here because of Outlook Business magazine made me proudly standing here to show what I have and what courage they have given, all of you have given me, and today what I am. Of course, for me it's not easy from childhood when I'm 8-9 years old, taken to Rajasthan due to Indo-China war, and from Rajasthan when I came back. That is worst part, that we don't even have any food to eat. And it's that time we really struggle a lot, and we are trying to sell momo because my mom is one of the very, he know how to make momo. So we start that momo in selling to the school so that we can earn some living, for living and for education. But that also not easy. It's very hard to struggle. After a few years, I was married because my parents cannot afford to take us for more education and feed us anymore. So I was married in the year 1971. But after getting married, that life was also very, very tough, more tough than what I used to be in my parents' place, because I have to struggle and earn money, earn living for my family. My husband is not doing well. He's an honest man, but very good. But I can't even say that today. I also feel that every woman, every man, success woman, have a woman behind. But today, even I'm success, but I always also should think that I have a man behind me. So, if my husband give me courage and everything, it's not possible for me also. And after trying to start a restaurant in Chinatown, what I feel that there will be a good business. But then, 1991, I have started Kimling, which was very, 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 very tough. That toughness, we cannot even express what is happening. Like everyone will come and try to grab the free meal, and try to make lots of trouble to us. But I overcome it one by one. Gradually, we have started one by one. From Kimling, I start another Mandarin, then Beijing, then Tungfong restaurant, another Mandarin, 5 outlets now in Kolkata. And I believe hard work will always succeed. So what I want to send to everybody, that my parents used to tell me, you don't worry, you just have to work hard, you will be always success. So this is what I am sending all the message to all the young ladies and all. Thank you very much.
Miss Monica Liu. Can we have a huge round of applause for her inspirational story and her inspirational self? Thank you very much, Miss Monica. Well, coming from the same city as Miss Monica Liu, we have with us Miss Lata Bajoria of the Hooghly Mills Company. Coming from a conservative Marwadi household, Miss Lata Bajoria had to take over the jute business of her late husband, Arun Bajoria, in the most challenging circumstances you can think of. And in doing so, not only did she discover her true self, but also learned the art of being selfless through her philanthropic venture, Apne Aap.
Born and brought up in a liberal family in Mumbai, Lata Bajoria was the typical city girl who loved her freedom. At 20, she was married into a conservative Marwari family and moved to Kolkata. Her life became all about rules and customs. Her husband Arun Bajoria was known as the Jute Baron, who controlled much of India's jute production then. But Lata Bajoria had to spend the next few decades living under his shadow, with no voice on anything consequential, let alone business. When her husband died in 2008, Lata finally came face to face with the huge jute empire that he had left behind. But she had absolutely no clue about anything business. She was 57 then. That was when she rediscovered herself, taking independent charge of both her business and life. Today, Lata Bajoria single-handedly manages her family's business under Hooghly Mills Company. But more importantly, she has charted her own path, immersing herself in social work with Kolkata-based NGO Apne Aap, and is championing the cause of organic living. Lata Bajoria personifies the life lesson that it's never too late.
Miss Bajoria, it's our pleasure to welcome you on stage. Ma'am, please.
So, hello everyone. As you have seen, my name is Lata Bajoria. I was born in Bombay. I'm a Bombay girl. I studied here. I'm an economics graduate from the Bombay University, studied in Sophia. And I had a very, very carefree life till I got married. I was, driving a car, I was swimming, I was also bicycling that time. And all the life, too many friends, and life was really good. And my parents are quite reformist, Sudharak jinko kehte hain. At the age of 18, like traditional Marwari girls, I got married to a very conservative family in Calcutta. And it was a very kind of a cultural shock. Because coming from here and then, staying in Parda and from that lifestyle to not to be able to do anything but, a very conservative family. The first day of my marriage, my mother-in-law tells me, oh, go around and Surya ko namaskar karo. And go around so many times and this way and that way. And I said, my God, mujhe to chakkar aa raha hai. How do I deal with these things? So it was, such incidents were happening every day. No friends, दोस्तों का तो सवाल ही नहीं है, बस वो पूजा पाठ and rituals, there were millions of rituals which we had to follow. And I was the only daughter-in-law, so more so. So, मैंने कहीं जैसे बॉम्बे में तो it was so free, but वहाँ जाने के बाद में even cross भी road करना है तो go in the car has to go around. You could, such simple things also, you needed an escort to go everywhere. So, like once I made just an innocent remark which I learned in Bombay that the God made friends and the devil made the relatives. And all hell broke loose. My goodness. वहाँ तो फ्रेंड्स का नाम और टेबू कि दोस्तों कुछ होता ही नहीं है चीज़ जो परिवार वाले हैं माने गो आउट विथ योर सिस्टर इन लॉ एंड ऑल दैट तो थिंग्स वर सो फनी ऑल्सो नाउ आई व्हेन आई लुक बैक सो सारे दिन पूजा पाठ देन ट्रेजिकली आई लॉस्ट माई फर्स्ट चाइल्ड हु वाज अ सन तो उसके बाद तो देयर वाज अ यू नो काइंड ऑफ अ मॉरल प्रेशर कि भाई यू मस्ट हैव सन्स नाउ एंड फिर पूजा का सिलसिला कि ये कराने से ऐसा होगा एंड देन एज अ रिजल्ट दैट कल्मिनेटेड इनटू 4 daughters one by one with lot of so much of दान धर्म एंड यू नो एवरी डे इट वाज अ डिफरेंट स्टोरी कहीं पूजा में जाओ तो यू नो आई वुड बी टेकन असाइड टू द पंडित एंड उसको कान में कुछ कुछ बोल के ओ गिव हर एप्पल यू नो ऑल द प्रसाद एंड आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी सन्स आई वाज सपोज्ड टू गेट बाय डूइंग दैट so that was there and I had no clue about the business though it was such a huge I mean industry I never entered the office I'd never even been to inside a jute mill though I live bang opposite ironically so it was a very restricted life my husband was very proud he would say oh you know my wife doesn't know anything about business she doesn't even know how many jute mills I have so that was a kind of typical life which I led and business wise let's say I was not even allowed to enter the jute mill for 40 years of a married life so that was quite something and he was dealing he had so many jute mills he had financial dealings with so much properties he was a genius man he had a very high IQ he was a one-man show but I was not aware of anything I mean his business dealings we was meeting so many people what was going on as far as the business was concerned nothing just say one ritual after another and no friends and a very very restricted so I even used to call him that you're a 7th century man that I'm married to that but I was only one at least there was a big house no financial problems well then my story actually started when my husband died so I was 57 at that time and ironically all the sense of emancipation I took and there was no time also for me to mourn because within 3 days of him dying and because there was no mill member so I had to take over means I had to face all my employees and I had to face them and tell them that look as long as I'm here you don't have to worry about anything and I'll take over and I promised not only to them, I promised to myself also that I'm going to give my 100%. Whatever it is, whatever I am. And that is where my actual journey started. So at that age, not knowing and then, you know, not knowing the word of F in finance. People would say, finance samalo. How do I do it? On what basis do I decide what is to be sold, what is to be looked after, and how do I do it? I've never even entered the office. So it was, then suddenly I'm thrust upon everything I have to look after. So anyway, I started. The first thing I did, I bought a laptop. And I thought that I'm illiterate without my own identity. And also, then my first email ID was Lata Arun Bajoria. Because I wanted to, you know, have the name also with me, and that is still there. And kept a proper tutor. Not that kisi ne sikha diya, because then that won't matter. The second thing I started going to the office, I had to. And then I started reading the Economic Times, which for us, nothing. तभी वो ordinary paper देख लिया, say the picture thing or just fashion, but now I realized that I had to read it. And then sooner, all the words start making sense to you, all this business sense. So a lot of things, the changes that happened to me were quite unique in the sense that I started finding myself gravitating towards the men. When I would go out to anywhere, because I wanted to learn so much, especially if I went to a jute party, and I would just automatically, that was the scene like, kya ho raha hai, and all that. And then suddenly I would be, you know, eerily I would find that the women are staring at me, their wives. Because at the age of even this, I was starting feeling threatened that, my goodness. And then I realized that I have to have a balance. थोड़ा दूर रहना ही better है. ask questions discreetly or learn from the paper or something like that. So these are very funny things also that happen. You don't realize it. That automatically you are not segregated and you want to go to a different level. So I started not even recognizing my own self. The changes happened so much. And so this is the basic story. And then, of course, I had to handle the day-to-day operations. And then one day I thought that I've never been inside the jute mill. I used to hear so much about that. My life was, for 40 years I had heard of all that. Let me try and go. I asked one of my managers that I would like to visit. He said, no, don't even think of it, madam. I said, why? He said, if you go, the production will come down. I said, am I a Menka or Ambar, what? मेरे जाने से क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? No, बस. So then I said, ठीक है. That time I didn't. But then suddenly, a few days later, I said, let me go. I didn't ask anyone this time. I just went. And that was such a turning point in my life because 3,000 workers. And of course, when they saw, they were all shocked, including the guy who told me not to come, the manager and all. And all these people, they almost fell at my feet. Because for them, then I realized, and there was respect in their eyes. And then I realized that they are, they have a respect. And for them, I was the Malik. Because I had taken the place of Mr. Bajoria. So they only recognized me as this widow that, okay, she is what Arun Babu was for them. And so then I decided, and they only told me one thing, that please keep on coming up, aaya kariye. And that gave me such a boost that even as a woman and as a widow of such a man, which I've never even met them, they know that I'm behind, and yet they are respecting me so much and they want me to come. They want to interact with me, they want to tell me their things and all. So that was very nice. And then of course I started consolidating because there were so many things to do, so many mills to look after, and I thought that is what I have to do. So we sold off some of them and started learning, managing a lot of things. And then of course I started a musical, we had the jute mill, something which never happened in the 200 years of a jute industry. Some German person came to me and he said, we want to have a musical program here. Again, I asked our people, they said, oh my God, you can't even think of what will happen, kabhi aisa hua nahi hai, the workers, ye sab hoga. Then the next day I thought that, why am I asking them? I'm supposed to be the owner. Then let me tell them that yes, we'll go ahead, rather than asking them. And I did that. And it was one of the most successful presentation. It went off so well. Can you imagine in such a warehouse thing, all the CC cars and all the diplomats and everybody was there from Calcutta. And then these things start giving you the power that, okay, I can decide, I can do things the way I want. So this is actually, so then I also started discovering the Lata in me. Because, all this while it was just Mrs. Arun Bajoria. There was no name. So after this consolidation, then I decided that I need to do something more, the social service. So I became a part of Apnya Women's Worldwide. That's a grassroots movement to end sex trafficking. So I became a trustee in that. It was started by my niece anyway. So I was the Masi to her, and I became Masi to almost every prostitute in Sonagachi. And I also learned a lot from their stories, that they are women like me. And, one was Uma, just to give you one instant. She was a Hindu married to a Muslim, was a pimp after getting married. You know how they lure them and they get them married. And then once she has a child, he just wanted her to come in the business. She refused. She came to us. So we not only got her the custody of her child, we empowered her. And today she's running a one of our very successful income generating program, which is Century Travel Making. She's leading that. There's another girl called Payal who was trafficked from Bangladesh. So she took a name, Payal of course is not a real name. And then she also told me, she actually took me to her working place where she services. There's a part of Sonagachi, which is I don't know how many of you know, is Asia's largest red light district. There are more than 30,000 women there trapped. And none of them are there of their own choice. Almost all have been trafficked, the age 7, 8, they have no homes, and that is their only comfort place. They can't even get out. So then she literally took me to her working place also. And can you imagine offering me in that kind of atmosphere a Coca-Cola? And she's asking a guy who was, a kind of pimp, that you Coca-Cola la ke do. I said, I feel like batching you up and you are offering me Coke. But then, theek hai, that also went on. So we are doing serious work with them. We have put the children into Ramakrishna Mission there. They are getting educated. And then, of course, I am a nature freak. I think my blood must be green. So I believe in organic farming. I do classes of that. I teach about Ayurvedic medicines there. I have a spice bagicha in Calcutta. So all of you are welcome to come whenever you want. So that's about it. My message would be that I started late, and I really had a sense of breaking away my shackles at the age of 57. It was like really as if I came out from a cocoon, and then doing so many things, not being answerable to anyone. So it was ironical for me, but I would say nobody has to wait till these kind of circumstances. I think people can do it, women can definitely do it even before that. Why should you wait for that long? So one can do so much potential is there. So I wish all of you what I have been through, and of course with 4 daughters, I'm total feminist, that you can understand. So that's what.
Ms. Bajoria, thank you so much for that very encouraging words and your very encouraging address and story. Thank you very much. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to announce the first round of Women of Worth 2017 awards. May I now call upon the Honorable Minister of Women and Child Development, Ms. Pankaja Munde, to kindly join me on stage to do the honors. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we call upon our Women of Worth 2017. First up, we have Ms. Shauna Chauhan, CEO, Parley Agro. With a bachelor's degree from the business school in Los Angeles, Shauna, the eldest of the 3 daughters of Prakash Chauhan, the founder of Parley Agro, took over the business in 2006. And since then, the group has diversified into new segments such as confectionery, pure fruit juices, and baked snacks, besides ramping up exports. After scaling up the business, her aim is now to transform the entity into a 10,000 crore empire. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for Ms. Shauna Chauhan. Shauna, we'd like for you to share how you feel at the moment.
Well, I love being called a WoW woman of 2017. But thank you, Outlook, for nominating me for this award. Truly honored. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shauna, and many congratulations to you. And our next Women of Worth, ladies and gentlemen, is Miss Lara Balsara Vajifdar, Executive Director, Madison World. As the daughter of Sam Balsara, the man credited with giving media planning and buying a pivotal position, Lara got to hone her skills very early in the day. The 36-year-old executive director at Madison World, which handles blue-chip clients such as P&G, Coca-Cola, and Airtel, has steered the agency into newer areas of communication. Let's have a huge round of applause for Ms. Lara.
Thank you so much, Outlook Business. I'm really honored to be amongst so many accomplished women, and it was really heartening and quite amazing to hear at least two stories so far of what these two wonderful women have gone through and achieved and overcome such difficulties in such a positive and amazing way. So thank you so much, and congratulations to all the winners over here.
Thank you, Lara, and many congratulations to you. And now calling forward our next Women of Worth, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Aditi Kothari Desai, Head Sales and Marketing, DSP BlackRock Investment Managers. An MBA from Harvard Business School, she's been instrumental in DSP BlackRock doubling its assets under management to over rupees 85,000 crore in 2 years, and now wants the AMC to be among the top 5 in the next 5 years. A trustee on the Hemendra Kothari Foundation and the Wildlife Conservation Trust, Aditi is on board of Dasra, which is a Mumbai-based organization which teaches NGOs how to scale and also helps them in becoming more efficient. Well, over to you.
Thank you, Outlook, for giving me this award and nominating me, I would say, in the midst of all these very accomplished women. Really, Lata, Monica, your stories were so inspiring that if you ask me to say one thing, how do I feel right now? I just feel humbled. You know, I was lucky to be brought up in a family where, you know, women were valued, I would say, in a more egalitarian way. And, you know, I was brought up with a good education. But what you all have done and the struggles that you all have gone through really just make me feel that, just make me feel very humbled. So, thank you, Outlook. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and many congratulations to you. And now let's call upon our next Woman of Worth, Miss Akanksha Bhargava, CEO, PM Relocations. An MBA, she's made her mark in the relocation industry over the past decade, taking over the reins of a relatively small-sized business from her father. She managed to scale it up by venturing out in Bengaluru, apart from Delhi, and has since expanded to over 14 cities, ladies and gentlemen. A huge round of applause for Akanksha. Akanksha, time for you to share what you feel.
Hi, everyone. I'm so honored to be here amongst such amazing inspirational stories that I've already heard and I'm going to hear for the evening. So thank you, Outlook Business, for having me here. Not just recognizing me, but an industry that's not really known to a lot of people, but definitely relocations is a very important and integral part of our lives. We definitely move homes once in a lifetime. So I'm glad that, you know, this industry is getting recognized now. And I'm really, really happy to be here. And I want to take this, you know, on behalf of my team that, you know, that chooses me every day to be their leader and to be able to, you know, live that vision that I saw 10 years back. It wasn't easy when we started with 25 people and we're about 600 today. So I think it's the team that's done everything, and they sort of come to office with so much struggle back home, and they sort of deliver every day to the expectations and the vision that the company has. So this is for the team. Thank you, everyone, and have a lovely evening.
Congratulations to you, Akanksha. And madam, thank you very much for doing the honors. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for our first set of Women of Worth 2017. Well, may I now please introduce the ASK Group, our wealth partner for the event. Today, as a leading financial services group with expertise in wealth and investment management, it has a clientele boasting of some of India's most affluent families. I would now like to call upon Mr. Sunil Rohokale, CEO and Managing Director, ASK Group, who has been with the group since 2008 and comes with over 20 years of experience in banking and financial services. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him with a round of applause.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is really a wonderful and a very beautiful evening and beautiful event. The two stories really touched me in a manner in which I never thought that today it's not a gender, it's a men or women. I think individuals can make a difference, and that is what these two stories talked about. Today, we are here to celebrate the women achievers, and I'm sure each one of us sitting in this room has a story. But today, I think the time is to celebrate the stories of those successful winners. And each one of us will get some chance in our life to share our story and our way of expressing that success. So success is there in everybody's life. Everybody gets time to celebrate the success. Let's celebrate these women who has made all the difference. I take pride in today sharing something very interesting. Being a career banker, worked in ICICI Bank since 1994 to 2008 before I moved on to ASK. I've been mentored, I've been guided, I've been led by one of the most popular women of this country, the bankers, like Mrs. Lalita Gupte, Mrs. Kalpana Morparia, Mrs. Shikha Sharma, Mrs. Kachanda Kochar, Mrs. Madhvi Bhojpuri. I've been all the time been led, mentored, and made what I am today by the women of this country. So I'm so proud to be here. At the same time, I thought, let me also share some of the things, very interesting things which are turning. We all know that, and I don't have to say this, who is the highest spending member of the family. That's a known secret. But today, some year back, BCG, the Boston Consultancy Group, did a survey, and they realized that out of the world population, 1.6 billion are the women workforce. And the interesting shift is the women have started leading to become the financial head of the family. That's a significant change. The women who have done extremely well in their professional life, personal life, and in entrepreneurship life have started getting the wealth momentum so much, and that becomes a segment for the wealth managers, asset managers like us. Another study done by UBS said today they expect in next 5 years the wealth created by women on their individual capacity, today contribute $13 trillion, will move to $18 trillion. And they didn't stop there. They also suggested in the report that in next 5 years, the wealth created by women is going to be at a higher growth rate of 1.6% than men. Every reason for me to be here, to tell you and share you something very interesting that at ASK Group, we have actually created a forum to engage with women, to help them make this whole complicated, mysterious, formula-driven, complicated finance investment into simplistic way. And I recommend any one of you in this room would like to join us in some of these 4 or 5 hours conversations on public markets, real estate, private equity, venture capital, investing into debt instruments. You are most welcome. With this, I will not come across the main event. Once again, I would like to actually congratulate each and every woman who have been considered for this award, and a special congratulations to one who won this award. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rohakale, for addressing us this evening. Well, Swami Vivekananda once said, There is no chance for the welfare of the world unless the condition of women is improved. It is not possible for a bird to fly on only one wing. Women empowerment, hence, is an integral part of our nation building, and it's not any different with India. To discuss and debate the state of women empowerment in the country, I'd now like to invite on stage Ms. Pankaja Munde, Minister for Rural Development, Women and Child Development, Maharashtra. Ms. Munde, an MBA graduate, introduced several women-centric initiatives that have enabled them to achieve sustainable livelihood. Ma'am, please take a seat. Our next panelist, Ms. Zarina Screwwala, Managing Trustee of Swadesh Foundation. Ms. Screwwala is an entrepreneur and philanthropist, currently working with 6 blocks across Raigad in Maharashtra. Under her stewardship, Swadesh has emerged as a unique philanthropic organization that works on a build, operate, transfer model to accomplish its goal. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, next up, I'd like to invite Ms. Payal Nath, co-founder of Kolkata-based Kadam, a voluntary organization dedicated to the holistic development of rural crafts. Payal has done her bit to empower the rural women of India by training them to create utilitarian goods out of organic materials and creating a market for them in the city. Moderating this discussion, ladies and gentlemen, will be Ms. Lavina Iyer of Outlook Business.
Hello. Can you guys hear me? Good? Okay. So good evening, everybody. Today when we were asked to set up this panel on women empowerment, we decided let's not do the usual gender disparity statistics and let's do something a little more. So instead we focused on self-empowerment. What can women do to uplift themselves? Which is why we're calling this panel Rise Up. And here we have on stage changemakers who have enabled several women across the country to unleash their true potential. I'd like to start with you, Ms. Munde. You've introduced several women-centric initiatives, be it Majhi Kanya Bhagyashree, be it Tejaswini, be it Skill Sakhi. Could you share with the audience any such stories of women whose success, beneficiaries of women, would reflect the meaning of women empowerment?
Hello everyone. Please excuse me for my bad throat. I am very happy to be part of, first of all, this program, and I thank Outlook for this, and I congratulate all these winners, WoW, Women of the Year. I am here, even I have my own story behind it, but when I heard the story of Monica and Lataji, I heard many stories, maybe more struggle I have seen of women being a minister also. I feel I'm blessed to be born in a family where my father, we all are daughters, we are all 3 daughters, so we never had that kind of atmosphere at home. And even married in a family where there was no gender bias issue. But you know, sometimes when you deal with these things, you realize the lower strata of the society accepts women leadership as easily, but the higher strata sometimes can be biased. What is my experience about it? So yes, I have empowered many women because I personally had an agenda. I always worked with as my NGO. Then I came in politics. So I always thought women should be the financial strength of the family, then only they will be respected. Because why men are respected? They don't have any extra power only because they earn. And that fetch them respect because family is dependent on them. So when women start earning, women start becoming financial strength of the family or backbone of the family, automatically that respect can be given to them. Here we are not talking about disrespecting men. we are talking about equality. So I have observed many people. I have observed people, women who have been divorced, who have been raped, who have been trafficked, and all these, they have, their rehabilitation has been done by our NGOs, and also as a minister we have done that. There is one story of my Umaid Abhiyan, which we do in the rural areas, where we make self-help groups of these women and we empower them. We make village organization, then we give them loans, and they start their little work on that level, and then we try to enhance their skills to market their products. So one girl came to me, she was just 18-year-old and already had 4 kids. And she said, I lost my husband and this is my story. And actually I thought my empowerment doesn't really stand in front of kind of empowerment skills she has. The girl who already has 4 kids and lost her husband and thrown out by her in-laws started her own business with this Abhiyan, and she first bought an auto rickshaw. Then she gave it to her brother to drive and started earning little money, then started saving that money. Then she bought another auto rickshaw. Now this girl has 6 auto rickshaws and she's an entrepreneur herself. So there are many stories like this where people are fighting to go from under poverty line to a sustainable financial level. This is a story, one of the story I can share with you because there is a time constraint. So many women have been struggling and trying to earn their livelihood and support their family.
Well, more power to these women. Speaking about the fighting spirit of women, Zarina, let's move to Swades. The very basis of your organization has been empowering people. Help me understand, what is the kind of mindset that prevails in the rural areas that you work with? Are the men supportive? How do the women find it to break these barriers and step out?
So, Lavina, I'll tell you a story not about really economic empowerment, but I'll tell you a story about a toilet. So, even if you just take a toilet as a symbol of something really sad, that if a person in the family doesn't have a toilet, so we have Swades, but we decided that the community must always contribute to their own development. So we have a certain sum of money, which varies dramatically from 500 rupee contribution to 4,000 rupee contribution. We could not convince the men to pay for the toilet because they didn't want it. But they didn't realize that their wives and their daughters, once they came of a certain age, went to the toilet at 4 in the morning in groups, and then went again to the toilet only at 11 in the night. So that from 4 in the morning to 11 in the night, they never went to the toilet because they used to go into the fields. And these men wouldn't give the 4,000 rupees needed for a toilet, which actually cost us 24,000 rupees, which we would bear the rest. So it's a slow and painful thing to see, but it can be done. And we built 18,000 toilets now with the contribution from each and every household. And I think I want to add that really we're not against men. It's not about that, not at all. It's about equality. It's about respect. It's about the right for every human being to have a dream and to be able to achieve it. So when we first started the Swades Foundation, you can't hear me? Yes. Thank you. From the mic? Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. I asked we started UTV and then we sold UTV in 2012, and we decided to give our money for the Swades Foundation, our dream being to lift 1 million people out of poverty. And the first thing I asked everybody, because we went on this journey of discovery, like 1 year we studied, what is poverty? What is poverty? We asked so many people. I got so many different answers. And then finally we decided, and you have it in what you're saying over here, is that poverty is the lack of the ability to dream. It's a lack of ability to aspire for a future for yourself. You can't even see it. You don't have a dream, and that to us is the poverty that we're trying to deal with. And we come to women, I'll tell you, we do many things, I won't get into them, but one of the things we do with 750 women, in our community, there's 7th standard pass, and then we made it 5th standard pass, so long as they can read basic Marathi. They're all trained in primary healthcare, and they go door to door and deliver primary healthcare. And we have been doing this for 3 years in 2,000 villages of India. And they have done amazing jobs. They have saved lives. And I'll tell you one thing, they're all volunteers, but we started by giving them 500 rupees, okay? And we told them we'll give it to them for 2 years. Just, you won't believe it, 3 months, 4 months ago, one of the women came and said, you know, ma'am, it's been 4 years or 3 years. It's been longer than you said you would pay us, which is when we remembered that we had said 2 years. And 200 women, 270 women have told us they do not want that 500 rupees a month anymore because they love what they do so much, they're continuing to do it with no compensation at all. And we were so touched, and I mean, stories like that really change everything. The other thing that we've realized is that when you give money in the hands of a very poor woman, something fundamental changes in that family as opposed to giving it in the hands of a man. When you give money in the hands of women, they spend it on different things. Their children complete school. Their children are no longer malnourished. And the other thing that we've realized, which amazed me and delighted me, of course, because I'm slightly feministic, is that when you train women in farming, the produce goes up by 20% to 30% of that when you give it to the man. And these are studies, so I was very surprised, and then I read up about it, and it's a study after study has shown the same thing. So give it to the women.
So that's very fascinating to note. All three of you work particularly with women in rural areas. And a lot of us in this room can't even imagine some of the hurdles that they go through. Can we have some water, please?
Can I have a hand mic? Because it's not working out. Thanks. Put my other mic off. Sorry.
No, that's all right. So there are a lot of women even here, right here. It's a known fact that women professionals in general face several hurdles. We face several barriers. It's a known fact that women account for only 4% of CEOs in listed companies in the BSE. So in a country where women are underrepresented in leadership, Payal, I want you to tell me, what is it that is holding us back?
So many things, so many things. But you know, if you see our country, if you say 100%, 68.8% lives in the villages. And that's where our answer is. So when you have every, out of 10 people, 7 people living in the villages, so, and the rural, and our country, you know, there's one statement that I like to make before that. I get a lot of interns from international universities to work in our NGO. So they made this comment after traveling in our various villages where we work. They said, here we noticed that in your country, in India, people are living from 12th century up to 23rd century. So, you know, and it's an amazing country that we live in, right? And then a majority of the population, unfortunately, are not even in the 19th or 20th century. So that answers most of your question, I think so, because most of the people are still in the rural belt now, and so women have to come up from there to be able to, our statistics to go up.
Can I just add
Sure,
something
sure.
here? You know, the problem is, and I speak again from rural perspective, is that the problem starts at birth. And this is something, see, I love my country. I am very proud of it. And I work really hard to make it a better place. But this is something I'm ashamed of. If there's anything I'm ashamed of, it's this. That when the girl is born, she starts with a disadvantage. She starts with less nourishment. She starts with a less education than the boy. Now, sometimes I can even understand the education, but the nourishment kills me. I can't even understand how a family can do that. And from there she has to take. She has an inherent disadvantage when she is born. So then how does she continue? How does she bring herself out of this? It's a huge, huge, insurmountable.
If I may add to this, what we do in Kadam is that we've created a model wherein we build teams in the villages with one woman, let's say, one man, and let's say one man, and other communities were lower communities and higher communities. So we make teams like these. And so each team is responsible to make a product which will
fetch a certain price in the market, which will be equally distributed amongst all. So it's the skill, not the gender, not the caste or the community that you're coming from. So that has helped. That has helped a lot. So we have like about 600 households, where I say 600 households who are earning an income of more than 10,000 a month now, from nothing to here. So yeah, so I mean, it is very rewarding when you see that this sort of thing is possible, but it's organic and it takes time. It takes time.
And also one thing,
Yes,
as she
Anuja.
said, there is vast variety in our country. So some people are living in 12th century, some are living in 23rd.
Right.
But the rest which are not reached 19, the men are also included in that, not only women. I
Yes,
want to
yes.
add to this that even men of deprived sector are equally deprived. So what you're talking about, toilets, recruitment, everything is there for them also. So women have to really run extra mile, or little have to burn extra calories to be in the yeah.
At
So
the
that's
forefront.
good.
Pankaj, I want to understand, you know, these barriers that women face in particular are at times are some of these self-imposed, the so-called glass ceiling of the traditional workplace. Do you think we limit
get your
ourselves
question
somewhere?
actually.
Sorry?
I didn't get your question actually.
What I mean to say is, somewhere do women have this guilt of, oh, I have to manage my family, how would I be looked at? Women are considered to not have executive capabilities, maybe I might not be able to live up as
Maybe
much as my
it
male
depends-
counterparts.
It depends on the environment they are brought up in. It
All
depends
right.
on the environment they're working in.
Mhm.
And it depends on the inner environment of themselves also.
Right.
If you're confident enough, whatever it is, you can fight it. It is
Right.
your own confidence. And confidence gets built up with your upbringing mostly. Because it is, I always say, all men, forget about them for a while. All those mothers, please make your daughters confident. They start at the home. That's what I said, the lower strata accepts easily at times, but higher ones, if you talk about female feticide, it happens in the economically, better people, economically stable people. So that attitude of social issues and all is more into a higher middle class and all these families. So their upbringing is the first thing. Their confidence is second thing, which they get eventually in their primitive years, in the schooling and all. So that's very important, but there is always a guilt. Even I have a guilt that my son is studying, he's in 10th and I'm here sitting, I have to go back, rush, see his homework. I will have that guilt. Maybe, you know, that women have some genetic problems, I feel. So they are very perfect. They want to do everything at the same time. Men are not. My husband is traveling US, he's relaxing, he's not bothered about son studies, but I am. So it says, he always says it's X-linked problems, so Y chromosome doesn't have that. So we are perfect. We want to do everything nicely. We want to serve every sector. In-laws ko khush karo, family ko khush karo, relatives ko karo, boss ko karo, subordinates ko karo. We will take care of even the bai who's working with us. We understand the facial expressions also. I know when my bai is not happy. I am a minister, I have no time. I get up, go, come back home, sleep. So I just feel my bai's mood is not good. That is a genetic problem we have. I feel so we want to deliver at every level we work.
Serena, I want to understand from you, you know, what would be your advice to women who have this mental debate? Am I doing right by my career? Am I doing right by my family?
See, I think I totally agree. I think we all want to be superwoman. And we let men be men, but we want to be superwomen. And this is the problem. I think it's fine to be superwoman, but if it creates stress, don't do it. I think I was only able to succeed. My mom's right here, sitting here. And because I had a very strong family who backed everything I did, and whenever I needed help, I asked. I not only asked my family for help, I asked my co-workers for help. If I had family problems, I asked my co-workers for help. Ask for help. There's no need to be superwoman. No one expects us to be superwoman except ourselves. That's one thing. And then we suffer from this guilt. So build your relationships with your family and your workplace in a way that allows you to live somewhat of a balanced life. It's never perfectly balanced. It's always hard. It's always stressful. But if it brings you joy, don't let being superwoman stop you.
That's some great advice. Well, before I let the three of you go, we defined women empowerment as self-empowerment. So I want to know from each of you, starting with Payal, in one line, if you could tell me what women empowerment means to you.
I think to me, it would be helping the women identify with their strength, with their inner strength. Yes. And also then to utilize this strength for their own benefit or as much beyond they can get with that strength. Yeah. That brings in peace.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Pankaj, how about you?
In one line, it's global empowerment. I feel unless you empower 50% of the population, which is neglected and deprived, you cannot have whole globe empowered. So I think women cannot be ignored. They are there, they are breathing, they are working, they are living. So they should, it's as important as men empowerment, according to me.
How about you, Zarina?
So I think we need to understand that we are not a minority. We don't need, we are one half of the planet. We are a huge force. And the one thing we need to also realize is that we bring tremendous strengths to the table. Strengths the world really needs today in the workforce, in the political force, in the social, in every sphere. Women's special abilities is not something to shy away from. Those are the intuitive, nurturing, compassionate, loving beauty and bringing it to the world, demanding that my work brings meaning into my life. This is what's lacking in the world today. This is what women bring to the table. So I say, let's bring it on.
All right then. Well, I sincerely hope that all our panelists have inspired you enough to realize that you don't need the society to accept you. You don't need the society to empower you. It's all there within you. So rise up to the challenge and, as Ms. Zarina says, get going.
They are capable of empowering society themselves. So. Thank you all.
Well, thank you so much for that very insightful discussion. I'd like to request Ms. Pankaja Munde to kindly stay with me on stage, ma'am. And I'd like to call forward Ms. N. Mahalakshmi and Mr. Indraneel Roy, CEO Outlook Group, to kindly join me on stage to present a token of our gratitude to Ms. Pankaja Munde. Please join me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for Ms. Munde? Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. We're happy to have you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to announce the second round of Women of Worth 2017 awards. May I call upon founder of private equity fund Multiples, Ms. Renuka Ramnath, to please join me on stage to do the honors. Calling upon our next Woman of Worth, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Miss Lata Bajoria, owner the Hooghly Mills, the 67-year-old owner of one of the country's biggest jute mills in Kolkata, who, as we all know, had to overcome the odds and fight such a deep-rooted patriarchal society very late in her life after the sudden demise of her husband. Today, Lata Bajoria is not only running the jute business her way, but she's also rediscovering her true self by engaging in socially responsible pursuits. Please put your hands together for Miss Bajoria. Miss Bajoria, we'd love to hear from you once again.
No, I'm feeling really good. Great. And so much honor. This is the first time for me. Other things have been said about, I mean, BBC team also came, but and they called me the Jute Baroness. So, you know, I'm rather enjoying the name. Now I'm also...
Good one. Thank you so much and many congratulations. And our next woman of worth, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, please. Let's put our hands together for Miss Meena Kaushik, Chairman, Quantum Consumer Solutions. When this economics graduate earned her doctorate in social anthropology, she was prepared to embrace a career as an academic until an enticing corporate job offer came her way. A keen eye for detail and her rigorous drive propelled Meena to the upper echelons of India's foremost market research firms then, but the hunger to redefine her discipline and unleash her true potential saw this woman set out to build an enterprise of her own in Quantum Consumer Solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Outlook Business, for nominating me. It's a great honor to be amongst such luminary women. And Lataji, you are a great inspiration. I certainly come from a very privileged background. I was born in a household where equality was, you know, a done thing. I married a man who was a woman's man. You know, equality went a step further. But I think, you know, when I was hearing that discussion, that panel discussion on empowerment and self-empowerment, I think one of the biggest things that women, the biggest role that they have to play, they're the nurturers. They create the family. They bring up the children. And when you build equality between your daughter and your son, and you teach your son to respect women, and you teach your daughters to believe in themselves, then you've really created empowerment. That's the first step of empowerment. Right? And so women, I know we say that we have guilt if we don't do, but you know, when you're brought up with this whole thing that nothing is impossible, everything is possible, and men and women can do it together, then women respect men and men respect women, and I think we'd have certainly a better society. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you very much for those encouraging words, and congratulations. And now calling forward our next woman of worth, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Monica Liu, the restaurateur, born to a Chinese immigrant and being confined to a refugee camp post the 1962 India-China War. Monica's family managed to venture back to Kolkata a good 6 years later. And after years of struggle, Liu ventured into the restaurant business by opening her first outlet, Kimling, in Tangra, and since then there has been absolutely no turning back, and today she owns 5 extremely popular Chinese restaurants in the City of Joy. Let's hear it for Miss Liu once again. Miss Liu, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, all of you. I have nothing to say now. I'm very, very happy to stand here and have this award. That is more than enough for me now. Thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you, Miss Liu. We're happy to have you here. And calling forward our next woman of worth, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Miss Zarina Screwwala, Managing Trustee, Swadesh Foundation, a first-generation entrepreneur who has the rare distinction of managing both a production house and a not-for-profit organization. Today she runs Swadesh, a foundation aimed at rural empowerment and uplifting 1 million people out of poverty every 5 years. Please put your hands together for her.
I feel like Monica because I don't have anything to say, except, okay, I accept this on behalf of everyone at Swadesh, all 350 of us. We have 350 people at the grassroots working hard every day to bring people's dreams to reality, and we have those 750 women. We also have about 200 men who are volunteering from the community to help bring this dream come true. So thank you so much. Thank you, Outlook, for this. I really treasure it. Thank you.
Thank you and many congratulations to you. And Ms. Renuka, before I let you go, I'd like for you to address us all this evening, please, if you may.
It's wonderful to be here. Good evening, everybody. All the women, particularly here, and the men who have taken time out. I think we had excellent panel discussion. I've spoken on this stage earlier, but what resonated very well this evening with me, and what has made a difference to me as well, is how we bring up our children at home. I think home is really the beginning. So as mothers, as fathers, we have a lot of responsibility in our hands, and sorry ma'am, I'm forgetting your name. Sorry? Meena. She articulated it beautifully to say that if we can make our daughters believe in themselves and the son to treat them well, I think we would have done a great job. So let us not neglect that. As far as glass ceiling and such discussions that we heard earlier, I think there are innumerable examples in every stream of life in this country where women have broken such ceilings. So it's really the family that has to come forward and give women the space. And there are, first of all, the magazines are doing a great job of bringing this fact to life. And we have such a long way to go when we think about rural India, where it was very heart-wrenching when Zarina said that the nourishment is not the same. And it's not a story, it's reality. All of us know it. So we have a very, very long journey to do, and each of us, in whatever little way, business of investing for over 20 years. I probably can recollect Kiran Mazumdar Shah and Billu Patel as the only two women entrepreneurs that I have had the good fortune to back. So I do not know where this pushback is coming from. We send our girls to the same schools as we send our boys. And it is years and years and years of conditioning that you are inferior to men, or you're not as competent as men. Or if somebody has to make a sacrifice to keep the home going, it has to be the wife, it has to be the girl, and never the man. And it is all right for the man to be not involved in the family at all. So somewhere the women have to stand up and demand their share of equality. And both the social service organizations, the NGOs, the magazines are doing their part, the educational institutions are doing their part. And we in the family as mothers, daughters, sisters have to do our part. So congratulations Outlook for hosting this wonderful event. Congratulations to all the wonderful recipient of Women of Worth. Very, very inspiring stories, and I'm sure it'll inspire many girls. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Well, it is now time to introduce the Passat. Produced by German automaker Volkswagen, Passat remains one of the most elite and safe cars ever engineered. The 2018 Passat boasts of its bold and sporty attitude, giving you a feeling of comfort, luxury, and safety at the same time. We would like to call upon Ms. Usha Ramu, Head HR for Volkswagen Group Sales India Private Limited, to say a few words.
Wow, what an honor for me to be here amongst such wonderful talent and such inspiring stories. Good evening, everyone. My name is Usha Ramu, and as mentioned, I am in charge of human resources for Volkswagen Group Sales India. The brands that we represent in India are, of course, the Volkswagen brand, the Audi brand, the Porsche brand, as well as Lamborghini. I first would like to thank all the organizers for giving the VW Group the privilege to sponsor this very important, prestigious event, and especially in time for the launch of our flagship car, the Passat. Diversity of talent in the workforce is one of the pillars of strength in our VW group of companies. And within that framework, every country looks at diversity differently, but the one running theme in the VW group of companies is women in the workforce. And it's the promotion and the retention and also the development of the women in our workforce. And this is something really which is in our DNA. We all speak the same language. We live and breathe the same language. And you can see this throughout our organization, even from the top person in the board in Germany. As such, I'm a very good example of the strategy. I was born and brought up in Singapore. My family's been there for 7 generations. My forefathers came in a ship as a convict in the 1800s. I've been living in the US for the last 35 years, and in January of 2016, my company gave me the honor of coming to India and posting me in India. And it has been just an amazing, amazing honor. Being here in Mumbai, I've never been to India before, so coming and working here was the first time that, I was exposed to the country and just looking at the amazing talent that we have. The automotive industry, I'm sure as you know or you may not know, is extremely male-dominated throughout the world. But with hard work and dedication and an amazing, amazing, amazing company to back me up, and I must give credit to also an amazing husband that I have, I've been able to actually dream and dare to climb the corporate ladder, and here I am today. In India, the VW Group sales company is focused on increasing women in our organization. We have launched various programs. We've been in India for 10 years. We celebrated our 10th year this year. And we've been focusing on programs to attract, promote, and retain women in our company. We've launched various programs to do that. We've launched an employee resource group called Elevate, comprised of volunteers, men and women, to promote and develop and increase the skills of the existing workforce and to provide opportunities for the women in our company. We have an emerging talent program where we realize that we need to develop the young talent that we're bringing into the company with a special focus on women and trying to advance them. We also have introduced crash facilities before it became the law. We've introduced flexible work hours, and next year we're very proud to introduce a work from home policy in order for us to attract and retain more women. And all of this, it's not, we realize that it's not just because it's required or it's the law. We strongly believe that it's the correct business decision. Empowering and enabling our women makes business sense. And it's become a passion for me and my totally male-dominated board members to not only develop the local talent, but also to attract, retain, and promote the women in our brands. With this strategy, the VW Group has also begun to design our cars. I work for a car company, I love cars, so I've got to talk about my cars, okay? With cars with the women in mind, okay? The beautiful Passat that you see outside is a very good example, a combination of aesthetics, performance, and very, very importantly, safety and reliability. I've driven this car many a times, and as well as many of our other car lines, and I may be biased, but our cars are fun to drive, they're cool to be seen in, but also very safe and reliable. It's helped me throughout my career, taking my kids up and down through the activities. My kids are young adults now, and as a mom, I'm very, very happy that they are in very safe cars driving all around. Likewise, our dealers, who are also very important partners, focus on the importance of women in the workforce. Statistically, in our dealerships, we have a very high percentage of women in customer care. The one area that we are now focusing on is in the sales force. Many women don't come into an automotive company to work in the sales force, so our target now is to bring more women into dealerships as well into the corporate office. And again, all of this is because it's the right thing to do, and we strongly believe and know that this will definitely increase our sales and contribute heavily to the success of our brands in India. As I've mentioned, the Passat is in the area. You can see it as you walk in, and we have some wonderful sales consultants that can talk to you about our car. My team and I will also be out there to talk about the car and answer any questions that you have. On behalf of the Volkswagen Group, and especially the Passat team, I would really like to thank you for this opportunity, and my heartiest congratulations to all the recipients of this esteemed award. Thank you all once again, and have a pleasant evening.
Thank you very much, Ms. Usha. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before I invite our next speaker for this evening, there's something that I want you to take a look at.
What is a dream? A dream could be something from our imagination, a desire and ambition. Our children's dreams are the nation's future. Their dreams today have the potential to be tomorrow's reality. Many of us had the care, love, protection and support that we needed. But for 40% of India's children who are in need of care and protection, that's not the case. As a society, if we want to get where we want to get, a place where supporting children's dreams is the norm and not a privilege, we need to decide and make that happen instead of just giving our sympathy.
May I now welcome Ms. Gloria Benny. Ms. Gloria is the co-founder of one of India's fastest growing youth volunteer network called Make a Difference and Guardian of Dreams, a platform that empowers youth to become change leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome her with a huge round of applause, Ms. Benny. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here today. It's like some of you just said, it's humbling to hear all the stories of women who have gone above and beyond, in a lot of ways gone beyond the limits that society sets for us and becomes a shining light for the rest of the, the next generation to come in. My name is Gloria Benny, and I run a non-profit organization called Guardians of Dreams. And it's interesting because today I'm going to talk about a topic which I think us women are great at. It's the mother of all causes, childcare. Yes, pun intended. So to start with, back in 2015, all of the UN member states got together and basically came up with a curated list of 17 sustainable development goals. And world over, all countries came together and said, these are the 17 goals that we want to strive to achieve by 2030, right? So if you run through this list, you'll notice that there are themes of ending poverty, of fighting injustice and inequality, of tackling climate change by 2030. But if you take a closer look at this list, there's something that's quite discomforting and surprisingly something that seems to be very, very important and an important facet of human development that seems to be missing. The words child, childhood, and childcare. And on the other side, when I think about it, it's not surprising. It's actually symptomatic of a larger issue. The issue is that clearly childcare or child development as a topic or as a sector itself seem to be ignored, or we're not acknowledging that sector in its whole. And if you look at, and there are other examples of this as well. If you look at what is the best, or rather let's look at this, which is that why is childcare so important? And by not acknowledging childcare as a holistic sector, how is that manifesting in the kind of interventions that we're designing our society around? What's happening actually is that a lot of the organized efforts in the space that is dealing with children, because childcare as a sector is not fully defined, is confining itself to just narrow fragments of the overall topic. For example, there's a lot of emphasis on education, and rightly so. There is some emphasis on nutrition, and there's a lot of effort happening in that area. There is also effort on prevention of abuse and so on. But those are just 3 different fragments of a larger topic or a larger banner called childcare. Now let's think about this. If all of us in our room, when we were young and when we were children, if these were the only 3 inputs that we received, which is great quality education, where we had sufficient nutrition, and safety and protection from abuse, would we be where we are and would we achieve things in life without the other aspects that we had and have received, which is love, care, attention, exposure to opportunities, possibly even having that one adult or parent around who egged us on till we became, I would say, positive adults in life? Not really, right? Exactly, that's exactly the problem with childcare just not being looked at holistically, but just the focus being on different fragments. But then, if all of us could be where we are today, something about the kind of childcare we received has worked. And if we look deeper, we'll notice how somehow families falling into the middle class and above brackets have been consistently and effectively been producing positive adults, irrespective of where the child's born or which country the child's born into, be it India or Pakistan, Vietnam or US. If you happen to be born into a family that is middle class or above, the likelihood of you achieving financial stability, the likelihood that you have received sufficient nutrition, of not getting into trouble with law and order, all of this seems to be phenomenally high. So then the question is that what exactly are these middle class and above families getting right? What is their micro-societal approach to childcare that seems to be working so well, while larger state machineries seem to be missing this? When we look a little deeper, we notice how families are not focused on just the childhood inputs or how to effectively and efficiently deliver it, but they're basically willing to throw everything and invest everything in the child that would achieve the end outcome. Their laser-sharp focus on just purely getting a child to become a positive adult. That is what is clearly making the difference between how childcare is looked at within a family unit and what is looked at outside of a family unit. So if, let's say, families are great at childcare, then the question to ask is, then why not leave childcare to just families to take care of? Why not the state and the larger society focus on things that families don't take care of, which is, let's say, livelihood or tackling climate change? Why not just leave childcare to allowing families to take care of children? Oh well, we don't really have an easy way out on this one either. The ground reality asks us to rethink this approach. A report that's published by SOS Village shows that there are actually in India alone 2 crore children who are at risk, who are classified orphans, who are outside the family unit, or rather 2 crore children for whom the family unit has failed. Now the question is, are we as a society going to allow these 2 crore children to just be and wait for circumstances to play with their lives? Or are we as a society going to take responsibility for these 2 crore children who happen to not be born into great families, but still can have the potential to grow into people like you and I? And what that means is, as a larger society, as a state, we must figure out how to deliver effective childcare at scale outside of family units. How do we do that? First of all, I think one of the main areas is this whole black hole of childcare. What are the different childhood inputs that will produce effective adults, identifying those inputs and isolating them, understanding their relation to producing adults, and from that knowledge, designing interventions that will ensure that they are effectively delivered, and then setting up or building capacity to ensure that these solutions that are designed can be delivered at scale. At the age of 19, we founded an organization, or rather our first organization gave me an opportunity to work with or got exposed to 10,000 children living across children's homes in 23 different cities in the country. These were children that came in from various challenging traumatic scenarios. There were children that went missing, there were children that were abandoned by families, there were children that were rescued by trafficking. Basically, there was one common banner that remained the same across all of these children, which is they did not belong to any effective family. And it was this exposure that a few of us got at a very young age that kind of shook our, and in a lot of ways burst our bubble, because we happened to be born into great families, so we didn't think there were children that didn't have so. What startled us about the way the orphanages or children's homes worked was that the quality of childcare that was delivered in these homes was so poor that it was a safe assumption to make that these 2 crore children had little chance of getting out of their poverty cycle and becoming positive adults. However, if we need to get this right, after a decade of working in this space, what we were convinced of was that these very own children's homes or orphanages was actually the bedrock of childcare within a society. For a child that is not born into an effective family, the state says, hey, come over. We have orphanages, we have children's homes where we will provide as effective as the childhood inputs that you would get in a family so that you could also become a positive adult. That's why children's homes are so crucial for us to work with. Me and my team in Guardians of Dreams is actually working to fix this. What we're doing is we look to transform the quality and effectiveness with which these children's homes across the country are able to deliver childcare. And we're doing that by, again, we're trying to keep a laser sharp focus on figuring out what are the various childhood inputs, filling those knowledge gaps, designing interventions based on that knowledge, and then building implementation capacity. What we're doing in Guardians of Dreams is taking a 360-degree approach to working with children's homes, enabling them in various aspects, right from improving the environment of the homes, to improving the kind of nutrition that the children are getting, to looking at improving the quality of education, to also looking at how are the children able to access their rights, to eventually looking at who are the caregivers that are working with the children in these homes. And with my team in Guardians of Dreams, what we're looking to do is to build and craft a better future for our children. To build a society where we can guarantee that every child gets their required care and support to grow into positive, productive, stable adults who will then become the future of our nation. Thank you.
Gloria, thank you so much for that very enlightening discussion. And of course, that's food for thought and call to action, I thought, as I sat backstage. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we would now like to introduce Naturals, India's #1 salon chain. Naturals has about 615 salons across India, truly envisioned by only one woman's passion. By 2018, Naturals aims to have 3,000 salons across India. We would now like to call upon Mr. C.K. Kumaravel, co-founder of Naturals, to please say a few words.
First of all, hearty congratulations to Outlook, a business magazine, to celebrate the so many inspirational women and putting them in a room. And that's a wonderful beginning. And congratulations to all the winners. In Bombay, when I talk about naturals, people think it's an ice cream brand. I'm not. I'm a salon brand from South India. And in South India, people call me, I'm an exponent of women empowerment. I'm not. I'm a beneficiary of women entrepreneurship. And way back in 2000, my wife Veena's refusal to continue as a housewife was the beginning of the brand Naturals. And what happened is, today we have 615 salons, we have more than 350 women partners, we have more than 8,000 jobs we have directly created. My dream is to have 1,000 women entrepreneurs, 3,000 salons, and 50,000 jobs by 31st December 2020, and that's what we aspire for. But the journey of Naturals was with two thoughts. First is my thought, which is every dream is important, and everyone's dream is also important. And second is my wife Veena's thought, which is even more one step better, which she says, women are foolish to pretend that they are equal to men. Actually, they are superior, and they always have been. But what is the reality? Out of 15 prime ministers, only one was a woman. Out of 15 presidents, only one was a woman. We are still fighting for a 33% of reservation when we rightfully deserve 50%. Less than 4%. Less than 4% of women occupy the corporate boardroom. This is the reality. What is the solution? The solution is education and financial independence. When it comes to education, girls are rock stars. When it comes to 10th, 9 out of 10 school toppers are girls. 12th, it becomes 8. College, it becomes 7. After that, life changes. And that is what is a crucial point. And that's what is a food for thought, everyone. The next point is financial independence. That's so important. Less than 10% of women contribute to the financial kitty. Even the women who contribute to the financial kitty are not in control of the money. And that's the reality in front of you. I have a story. I have a franchise partner in Coimbatore. When I opened my 8th salon, this lady came from Karur and she said she wanted to open a salon in Karur. I told Karur maybe a little late, but she was very insistent. I went to Karur, I met her, and she already shortlisted a place. She invited me to her home. I walked into her house. There was a BMW parked on the left-hand side and a Mercedes-Benz on the right-hand side, few more small cars. I told myself, why is this lady wanting to open a natural salon? I went inside, met her husband, 2 sons, daughter-in-laws, and I told myself, 30 lakh loss also will not affect this family. Chalo, let us open. I opened the salon. 1 year later, she called me and she told me, thank you. I said, for what? She said, this month I have made 50,000 rupees profit. I said, okay, ma'am, good. She went on to say, at any given point of time, my house will have 10 lakhs in cash, jewelry and documents extra. But for any money I spend, I need to give accounts to my husband and to my 2 sons. This is my money. I can spend the way in which I want. I said, you have made my day. The best fashion statement you can make is standing on your own legs. If there is a woman in your house who is not contributing to the financial kitty of your family, in the name of mother, in the name of sister, in the name of wife, in the name of daughter, don't blame the government, don't blame the policy maker. Charity begins at home. It is our responsibility to make the women at home financially independent. If we think we can do that, I think we are creating a beautiful India. India may have got freedom in 1947. India may have got freedom in 1947. Indians have not. Indians women have not. And that woman is sitting in your own house. And if we can solve that, I think that I call it as we are building a beautiful India together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kumaravel, for that very encouraging address. We would now like to introduce Dr. UK Tiwari from Organic India. He headed the New Products Development Division of Organic India and now works with them as a product consultant. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Dr. Tiwari.
Good evening. Now, it's I won't say it a coincidence, but seeing the gathering here being women-centric, now it came to my mind to put it before you that the very concept of organic products was pioneered by a lady only, who is the chairperson of our company, Mrs. Bhavani Lev. So ideally she should have been here, but because she was busy in awarding people who are doing excellent work in organic farming in Delhi today, and we have awarded 3 farmers for that. The award's name is Dharati Mitra. Now it will appear in tomorrow's paper. Now the organizers asked me to restrict my talk to a technical topic, that is stress and role of supplements in handling stress. So I will restrict myself to that. Now, although in day-to-day life, we use the term stress quite frequently, and we normally use it for its right meaning. But when an individual is asked to define it, he or she restricts it to its partial meaning only, that is, it is limited to mental stress. In reality, stress is a broad term. Now, any part of our body can be stressed. Any of the systems of our body can be stressed. Now, I thought it will be proper to explain it, because our products are basically for stress management. Now, in reality, anything and everything which is unfavorable to our body and mind is a stressor that generates extra workload on one or more than one systems or mechanisms of our body, and that is called stress. And you look at any disease, any health problem in an individual, there is a stress behind that. Small diseases to serious diseases. Because when a particular system or mechanism of the body fails to cope up with extra workload applied on that through something unfavorable, now the person becomes sick or has one disease or another. Now, in its almost 2 centuries of history, modern medicine has been able to give certain medicines which can prevent few infections which these medicines are taken in advance. Not even all the infections, and what to speak of all the diseases. But in ancient systems of our medicine, there are indications, there are some, you can get some knowledge is there suggesting that there are certain herbs which, if taken regularly, they are capable of preventing probably all possible diseases. Now, Ayurveda calls them Rashayana. That's a very popular word in Ayurveda, Rashayana. Modern scientists have explained it or has given a different name, calling them antioxidants. But none of the name conveys the complete meaning. Organic India and many Western scientists have come out with a new word, and they have given the term anti-stress or adaptogens. If these herbs having adaptogenic or anti-stress properties are taken regularly, now chances of falling sick are reduced. Now, you will be very happy to know that the common household herb tulsi has been found to be the most effective anti-stress or adaptogen. That's why it finds a place of pride in our culture. Tulsi is not only number one in terms of efficacy, Tulsi is number one in terms of palatability also, because of its unique flavor and aroma. Ashwagandha is number two. And considering this property of Tulsi, now we came out with a number of Tulsi teas, on which Vartika has already made her presentation, and you must have seen on this screen. Practically in all the teas, Tulsi is definitely present there. There are other herbs also. However, if these anti-stress or adaptogenic herbs are not organic, they cannot produce the desired result. They will be less effective, and in many cases, they can turn out to be harmful also, toxic also, because of the presence of harmful chemicals in them. And that's why we decided to go for organic. All the herbs we are using in our teas and our supplements are organic. I'm very happy to note that some of the winners are also doing this important work. They are working on organic farming also. Now, this can be made a revolution. Organic farming can be made a revolution. And here also, my sisters can lead, because kitchens are in their hands. And the health depends on what we eat. If we don't eat healthy food, we cannot be healthy. And if healthy foods are selected, the organic foods have to find a place there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tiwari. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's now time to announce the third round of Women of Worth 2017 awards. May I kindly request Ms. N. Mahalakshmi to please join me on stage to do the honors. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we call upon our Women of Worth 2017. First up, Ms. Monisha Advani, co-founder, MA Entertainment. From running a library in her bedroom at the age of 7 to co-founding India's leading executive search and recruitment company, MAHR, Monisha's entrepreneurial graph epitomizes her words, "I've always wanted to be my own boss." She moved from HR to entertainment along with her brother Nikhil Advani to disrupt the otherwise disorganized Indian film industry. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for Monisha.
I've been trying to think what I should say right now, and the only thing that came to my mind was at the age of 10, I was asked to write an essay on women's emancipation. And I remember thinking to myself, damn, that's a really big word. And then sitting in this room today, I realized that it's not just a big word, it's really a big responsibility. Part of that responsibility is borne not just by the Women of Worth, but I think by everybody who's come here today to support us, and to the Outlook Group for supporting this initiative repeatedly. I think you've just said this is your third year in running, may you have many more. I think celebrating emancipation is important, but also celebrating our intuition is important, so we let this program get going really quickly. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Monisha. Calling forward our next Woman of Worth. Put your hands together for Ms. Neeru Sharma, co-founder Infibeam. As the co-founder and head of corporate and business development of the e-commerce portal, Neeru is putting at work her diverse career experience that prominently spanned Alcatel India, TCS, and Amazon Global Resources. Just like her idol Indra Nui, she too wants to make Infibeam a force to reckon within the e-commerce tech space. Well, Neeru, I'm sure you'd like to say a few words.
Okay, so thank you so much. And it's been very inspiring for me to listen to all these wonderful women, and I still have a long way to go, is all that it tells me. My first woman of worth, I think it's true for all of us, was my mom. And I think moms teach us a lot of things without telling them to do. They just show us, and we just follow. So the first woman of worth for me was my mother. And I think that goes without saying that we are fortunate enough as women, because for our children, we'll always be the woman of worth they see. And husbands too, they say it or they don't, but yeah, we are the woman of worth for them. So I think I feel extremely honored that Outlook has given us an opportunity, and out of the team Infibeam and the vision that we have, I'm able to be a woman of worth to the broader industry. I'm just representing one of all of the people sitting here and probably the millions of women out there. So if I can do it, so can any one of us. Even if I'm able to inspire a single woman out there, I think it's totally worth it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Neeru, and many congratulations. Our next woman of worth, ladies and gentlemen, is Ms. Sandhya Chandrasekharaya, co-founder India Hikes. For little over a decade, Sandhya was just another software engineer climbing up the corporate ladder at AOL India. But she didn't let that, fool her. Behind her mellow voice, she has a sharp, intuitive mind that successfully turned her passion for outdoor travel into a very successful business. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for our woman of worth.
Thank you, Outlook Business, for this wonderful opportunity and recognizing our work, my work and my teams at India Hikes in this elite club of women of worth. At India Hikes, what we're trying to do is see if we can apply the values that we stand for in our lives in business and see if we can grow a business based on that. And till now, it's been working, and thank you for this recognition, Outlook, again. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to you. Calling forward our next woman of worth, Ms. Vandana Mohan, founder, the Wedding Design Company. She started her career as a model and also tried her hand at television anchoring and event production before starting her own venture. Today, as India's first woman event manager, Mohan's firm provides personalized wedding planning services for Indians across the globe. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for Vandana.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank Outlook Business for this opportunity. I can't believe I'm standing here. I kept asking myself, why me? I want to congratulate all my friends here, new friends that I've made thanks to Outlook today. I want to congratulate each one of you. And I'm so humbled by everybody's stories. I just feel that I have so much more to achieve, so much more to go. Listening to everybody, what they've been doing here, I'm trying to contribute in a very small way. My business may seem frivolous to some. After all, I'm only just a wedding planner. But at the end of the day, I do want to tell everybody out there, we do make dreams come true, but we do also help and try and make a lot of women, men, children be independent and financially as well. Something that a lot of you may not know, but the wedding business is the only business that actually employs every part of anything that is grown on the earth to the sky. We use everything and anything and employ hundreds and hundreds of people, and that's the only pride that I have. And to women out there, go for it, and let's just love ourselves a little more. Thank you.
Yes, please. Thank you so much, Mahalakshmi. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now take immense pleasure to invite upon a woman of substance, an actor in a league of her own, and whose work is an extension of her beliefs. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of India's leading actors, Miss Vidya Balan. Well, here she is, ladies and gentlemen. A huge round of applause for our woman of worth. Well, Vidya, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's a pleasure to have you. And up first, we would like to unveil the 2017 edition of Outlook Business Woman of Worth. I'd like to request Indranil Roy, CEO, Outlook Group, and Outlook Business Editor N. Mahalakshmi, along with Mr. Vipun Sharma, to please join me on stage to do the honors. Well, go forward and let's unveil the new issue. Shutterbugs, this is your photo opportunity. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Roy and Mr. Sharma. Thank you very much for doing the honors. I'm going to request Ms. Mahalakshmi to stay with me. Ms. Mahalakshmi, I'm going to request you to stay with me because we're going to have a brief chat with the Vidya Balan. Thank you.
Vidya, thank you for taking out time at a very, very busy time. We know that your schedule is really crazy around this time.
No,
And
it's
thank you
my
for
pleasure
making time
entirely. Instead, thank you, Mahalakshmi, Indranil, and Outlook Business for featuring me on your cover. It's not every day that I get featured on a business magazine cover, so it is very special. And good evening, all of you. It's wonderful to be here.
Thank you. So my first question to you really is, you come from a conservative, middle class, Tamil Brahmin family, and so do I.
Right.
How is it that you made it and I didn't?
You have, look at you. Are you fishing, Mahalakshmi? Of course you have. I've just made it to the big screen. You still pull the strings. And no, I think, correct me if I'm wrong when I say that I do come from a, like you said, Tam Bram family, a traditional Tam Bram family, but not necessarily conservative. Would you agree? I don't think I've Tamra is a conservative. You
I
know,
agree.
Yeah. The proof of that is right in front of us. So I think I was given every freedom as a child. We're two sisters. My sister is 4 years older than me, and she and I have led our lives exactly the way we wanted to. The only thing we were ever told is that, you know, whatever you do, enjoy it, do it to the best of your abilities, and go conquer the world. So that's what I think. That's the only thing we were ever told.
Sure. Now, I just want to take you back to 2000 and the initial phase of your the initial phase of your career when you were really facing rejections. It was a very, very tough period. How do you cope with it? What were you telling yourself, especially the time when you had 11 rejections after signing contracts?
Well, you know, we didn't. Hi. We didn't really. Hi, Auntie. Sorry. We didn't really sign contracts. I don't know if they do down south even today, but at least in 2000 they didn't. So it was. There were verbal commitments, and slowly but surely, for those who don't know, just a brief. I was doing a Malayalam film with the Mohanlal, and midway through the film, Mohanlal and the director had a problem, and therefore the film got shelved. And they had both done about 8 super hit films together. So they said, what was new in this equation? What was it different this time? So they said, oh, this is a girl, so she's jinxed. So I got, got replaced in 11 of the films I was to do after. And I think there were days when I wouldn't want to get out of bed. I would be really cranky. I would be fighting with my mother a lot. I think my mother really bore the brunt of, because I think she was wanting to protect me, and she would tell me, you know, are you sure you want to try this? And every time she told me, are you sure you want to try this? What I heard was, you're not good enough for this. So, because that was my...
And you wanted to do it even more.
Yeah, and you know, that was my fear deep down, that maybe I'm not cut out for this. So I think we used to have a lot of clashes. My father was always playing referee. But each one of them would come up with inspirational stories, you know, saying, do you know, my sister was in Bangalore at that time. She had just gotten married, and she would call me and say, do you know Amitabh Bachchan had 11 flops before, you know, Zanjeer happened? Do you know Tabu waited 6 years for her first film? And all sorts of stories. And, you know, I would, after a while, I started to say, you know, I don't want to hear any of this. But I think that hunger in me as an actor did not leave me. So there was a Sai Baba mandir close to my house in Chembur where I would go and sit and cry bucket loads. I would fight with Sai Baba like he was, you know, not just the idol, but a real person. And I would say, why did you dangle the carrot in front of me if you were not to give it to me? How unfair is that? Something would happen. I would wake up the next morning and feel like I could go on all over again. And that's how, I think it's faith, deep faith in myself and the universe probably, that, and really that comes from the family, that helped me just keep going relentlessly.
Sure. Going by the characters that you have done, especially lately, I'm tempted to ask you, and also in the context of what is happening today around the world, are you a feminist? And what are your thoughts on, you know, on the Indian film industry?
Right.
In that context.
I think I am a feminist. I'm not anti-men, because a lot of people don't know the difference between the two. I'm sure everyone in this room does. But, you know, I'm someone who believes that I have the equal right to breathe, live, lead my life the way a man does. So if, I guess that's what qualifies for a feminist. How is the film industry? You know, I think it's been wonderful to me. I have dictated how people will treat me, or I have really, without being rebellious, just, I think maybe I'm just too headstrong, strong-willed, whatever those words are. But I think it can be extremely sexist if that's what you're hinting at. I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah, it can be, and I think in the initial phase I did experience some amount of sexism, but you
And
know,
how did you react to it?
I used to be extremely angry when I'd be told that, you know, but he's given dates, so you'll have to work your dates around that. Never mind if I had 3 other films going on at the same time. He would always get a bigger van, you know, always a better hotel, all sorts of, you know, and people would almost sound like, "Aapko story sunna hai?" And I'd be like, what the hell, you know?
Right.
Of course story sunna hai, phir hi to main decide karungi ki mujhe film karni hai ki nahi. Thankfully for me though, I entered with a film like Parinita, so I think
Right.
I didn't experience, as an actor, I think, and no one questioned the rules I had set for myself. This was sexism in other areas that I encountered sometimes. And I remember people telling me, "Arey, the shelf life of a female actor is really, really short. So you have to, you know, you have to look younger. So you can't be wearing saris, you have to be glamorous, and you have to be this, that, and the other." And I tried my hand at it, and I got slapped around very badly. But I just then realized that, you know, I don't think the shelf life of an actor is short. Not if we female actors believe that it's not. It's really
Only
up to
a
you.
straight-jacketed role is short.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's when I think a sort of reinvention happened in my career. Not that I was even aware of it, but thankfully, when I started to say, you know, I can't do this, I can't fit into a certain mold, it's not me, I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. And I'm here to be an actor, so let me just do roles that give me the opportunity to really challenge the actor in me. I think I began to be a happier person.
And what was that inflection point when you really decided for yourself that you want to conduct yourself or take on roles that you really wanted to do, and not anything that came your way because you just wanted to be an actor?
I think I did a couple of films where, you know, when I watched myself, I said, oh my God, I've sleepwalked through them. And typically commercial films are not easy to do either. Hats off to those who do them well.
Right.
But I thought, you know, I obviously had a chip on my shoulder. I'd been appreciated as an actor already in Parinita. And I thought, oh, this is bhai haath ka khel. I can just do this, and I don't need to really apply myself. But I was wrong. But that kind of work was not for me. I needed substance. I need meat to chew into, even though I'm vegetarian. So I think that's when I realized that, you know, I'm okay. Because also glamour is associated with youth, it's limiting in a sense, is associated with fluff. Whereas when I said yes to Ishqiya, which was really a turning point for me, I remember people telling me, you know, why are you doing Ishqiya? Of course, Nasiruddin Shah is one of the greatest actors there ever was, but he's so much older. You know, it's not a typically commercial film. And I said, the actor in me was just calling out to me, you know, and saying, you have to jump at this. I said, that's what I'm going to respond to. Thankfully, I paid heed to my gut, my instinct, and I've done
worked out well.
fairly well. Yeah, thank you.
Have you ever thought of scripting, producing, directing?
No.
Did any of that ever come?
No.
To just bring your own ideas to life in your own way.
No, I don't think I'm very imaginative, to be honest. I can probably execute ideas better than have my own. And also, I don't have the discipline that's required to write. It's a very lonely process. I'm someone who needs to constantly, you know, say, listen, 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 can you hear me? And as far as direction and production is concerned, no way. They have to handle a whole lot of people and their egos, and I want to be handled. I'm not going to handle anyone. So, and there's a producer at home. So I think we'd be tearing apart our hair, if both of us were producers. I enjoy being an actor. This is what I've always wanted to do, and I'm living my dream. So I feel no need to, really venture into anything else.
Absolutely. You have endured a lot of ups and downs.
Right.
And finally made your dream come true. Let me ask you, what is your dream now? If you look at the next 15, 20 years, you still...
I think let's talk about the next 40 years.
Wow.
I just want to keep acting for the next 40 years, and I hope the universe is listening and is going to respond appropriately. But this is what I enjoy doing. Nothing's changed since I first decided, I think at the age of 8, that I wanted to be an actor. And therefore, I think it's not going to change. That's all really. Those are my plans. I don't have specific goals. I just want to I hope I enjoy everything that I do, because success and failure is really not in my control. They are like the seasons. Change is constant and you can't fight that. But I hope I keep enjoying what I do.
You are, you're not the stereotypical Bollywood actress. For someone who is introspective and intelligent as you are, what is the value that you bring to an industry where looks garner the most attention?
Oh my God. I don't know in terms of what value I bring to the industry, really. I don't know if I do, but I know that I'm constantly working at valuing myself more. I think as a woman, I think that's the biggest challenge. Whatever profession you're in, whatever age, whatever size, whatever, it's a constant challenge to value yourself. I think you have to constantly remind yourself, because we're conditioned not to. So I don't know about the industry, but...
Sure. And what is, based on your own life lesson, what is the one advice that you want to give to all the women out there?
Again, I'm not one to give advice at all. I really... but I think that's what I've learned over the years, that the more I value myself, the happier I get. And the happier I get, the happier around me, my world around me is. So I think it all comes back down to valuing the woman you are. And congratulations to all the award winners tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vidya, for being with us today and taking out time at a time that is really, really busy for you.
It's my absolute pleasure. And since I'm here, I have to tell you all that, please watch Tumhari Sulu on the 17th of November. I'm shameless around the release. I don't mind calling out to people from my car and saying 17th November, Tumhari Sulu. But thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that very lively discussion. Vidya, thank you so much for talking to us straight from the heart. I'd like to request Mr. Indraneel Roy to kindly felicitate Ms. Vidya Balan. Please join me on stage. And also Mr. Sharma, requesting you to join us as well for the felicitation. perfect shot. I can see all our women of worth sitting at the edge of their seats. So yes, it's time for all of you to join us on stage. Come on.
Hello, hello. I just want to say I wasn't expecting an award, so it caught me by surprise. Thank you so much, Outlook Business and Indraneel and Mahalakshmi and all of you. Thank you, thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for all our Women of Worth 2017 who are with us here on stage? Well, as they take their photo opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, as part of the SSK group, Cisca has several innovative products across mobile accessories, LED lighting, and more is now stepping into the personal care category with the launch of Cisca Personal Care range. So Cisca takes this opportunity to celebrate the women of worth today. I have with me on stage with a token of appreciation. I'd like to request Mr. Indraneel Roy. So please join me on stage to present the Cisca giveaways to our women of worth. Ladies and gentlemen, one round of applause for all our women of worth as they leave the stage. But of course, the night has just begun. Thank you, Akanksha. Thank you very much. Mr. Roy, thank you very much for doing the honors. And Vidya, thank you so much for joining us. All right, and before I let you go, Vidya, okay, we're going to give you a couple of seconds for a photo opportunity. And ladies and gentlemen, I request you to kindly take your seats as we're heading towards something very interesting. And Vidya, before I let you go, this small little big fan in me wants to give you a hug because I don't have a pen and paper or a selfie stick. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for the Vidya Balan? Thank you so much once again for joining us. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to request all of you to kindly take your seats. No problem. Please take your time. All right, and now may I please invite on stage Miss Vidya Menon, publisher, Outlook Business, to deliver the vote of thanks for this very intriguing and empowering evening. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome her with a huge round of applause as we close this stunning evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A very big thank you to all you beautiful women here, and gentlemen, of course, for gracing Outlook Business Women of Worth 2017. As an ode to all you beautiful women and all of us, I'm going to render a number to you. It's by Billy Joel, and it's She's Always a Woman to Me. So, and whoever knows the number can please join in with me. It'll be a pleasure.
She can grow with a smile, she can wound with her eyes. She can ruin your faith with her casual lies. And she only reveals what she wants you to see. She hides like a child, but she's always a woman to me. She can lead you to love, she can take you or leave you. She can ask for the truth, but she'll never believe you. She'll do what you give her, as long as it's free. Yeah, she steals like a thief, but she's always a woman to me. Oh, she takes care of herself. She'll take it if she wants. She's ahead of her time. Oh, and she never gives up, and she never gives in. She just changes her mind, and she promises you more than the garden of Eden. Then she'll carelessly cut you and laugh while you're bleeding. But she'll bring out the best and the worst you can be. Blame it all on yourself, 'cause she's always the woman to me. Frequently kind and she's suddenly cruel. She can do what she pleases, she's nobody's fool. But she can't be convicted on her degree.
And the most she will do is throw shadows on you, 'cause she's always the one to Thank you very much, everyone. I'm here now going to give the vote of thanks. I'd like to thank our partners without which this evening wouldn't have been possible. Presenting partner PC Jeweler, driven by VW Passat. Wealth partner ASK Group in association with Naturals. Our wellness partner Organic India. Our beauty retail partner Health and Glow. And our outdoor partner Bright Advertising. Thank you very much and look forward to joining you all for dinner. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Vidya, for introducing us to your soulful voice, and that couldn't have been a better thank you note, really. Well, ladies and gentlemen, yes, this beautiful evening has finally come to an end. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for making this evening a very memorable one. Thank you once again. Congratulations to all the women of Earth. I'm Zenia Fernandez signing off. Have a great night. Thank you.